I should have known something was wrong when the human smiled, not the polite, diplomatic smile we had grown accustomed to during the interspecies academic exchange program. No, this was different. This smile had teeth. And worse, it had confidence. Professor Kelthara, our esteemed toxicology instructor, had just announced the surprise practical examination. Around the crystalline auditorium, around the transparent auditorium, students from 17 different species shifted nervously in their seats. The Vrillian to my left started secreting anxiety pheromones. The Kothran pair behind me clicked their mandibles in distress, and there sat Marcus Hayes, human exchange student, looking like he had just been invited to his favorite recreational activity. The rules are simple, Kelthara announced, her 4 eyes gleaming with what I now recognize as dangerous amusement. I will present 3 unknown substances. You will identify their origin, chemical composition, and primary effects. You have 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I had spent 3 full cycles studying toxicology, and I still could not distinguish between half the compounds in our database. The other students looked equally panicked, except Marcus. He was actually leaning back in his chair. The first sample appeared on our workstations, a small vial containing violet liquid. I activated my scanner, cross-referencing the molecular structure against everything I had memorized. 15 minutes later, I had narrowed it down to possibly being derived from the Helmath swamps of Sector 9. Time, Kelthara called that I submitted my best guess, feeling my confidence deflate like a punctured atmospheric suit. Marcus had finished in 4 minutes. 4. Anyone wish to present their findings? Kelthara asked. The human's hand shot up. Of course it did. Batrachotoxin derivative, Marcus said casually. Modified version, probably synthesized from dendrobatid species. Earth origin. Blocks sodium channels, causes complete muscular paralysis. Fatal dose for most carbon-based life forms would be approximately 0.2 milligrams. Painful, relatively quick, moderately traceable if you know what to look for. The silence in the room was absolute. Kelthara's main eyes widened while her secondary eyes narrowed, an expression I had never seen before. Correct. Completely correct. How did you? Lucky guess, Marcus said. But that smile was back. The second sample made things worse. It was a powder, pale green, odorless according to my sensors. I worked frantically, but the composition seemed almost random. No pattern, no logical structure. Marcus finished in 3 minutes this time. When called upon, he explained, ricin variant. Extracted from castor plants, then weaponized with some interesting modifications I have not seen before. Inhibits protein synthesis at the cellular level. Absolutely agonizing. Takes days to kill you. Nearly impossible to treat once symptoms manifest. Extremely traceable though, leaves distinct markers in tissue samples. Kelthara was no longer trying to hide her shock. You are familiar with this compound? We have similar things back home, Marcus replied with truly terrifying nonchalance. By the third sample, everyone in the class was staring at the human. The substance was clear, seemingly inert, and my scanner could not detect anything unusual about it at all. Marcus took 5 whole minutes this time. I watched him work, noting how he did not even use his scanner for most of it. He just looked at the sample, occasionally swirling the vial, holding it up to the light. Finally, he nodded to himself. Thallium acetate suspension, he announced. Tasteless, colorless, odorless. Mimics other conditions, so diagnosis gets delayed. Victim experiences hair loss, neurological deterioration, gastrointestinal distress. Death takes weeks, looks like natural illness or heavy metal exposure from environmental sources. Historically very popular for, well, let us just say for situations requiring discretion. The way he said that last part made my secondary heart skip a beat. Kelthara set down her data tablet with trembling appendages. Marcus Hayes. Please remain after class. The rest of you are dismissed. We fled. Every single one of us could not exit fast enough that I should have left too, but curiosity is a trait not unique to humans. I lingered near the entrance, audio receptors at maximum sensitivity. How does a civilian student possess this knowledge? Kelthara demanded. Oh, you know, Marcus said, and I could hear the shrug in his voice. Standard education. We learn this stuff in secondary school. History classes, mostly. Chemistry. Biology. Some of it is just general cultural knowledge. Cultural knowledge? Your people consider toxicology to be cultural knowledge? Well, sure. I mean, humans have been poisoning each other for thousands of years, Professor. We got pretty good at it. The Borgias, Rasputin, Litvinenko, the whole Cold War era. Poisoning is kind of our thing. Right up there with persistence hunting and spite-based engineering. There was a long, horrified pause. Your species weaponized toxins as a primary method of conflict? Primary? No. More like supplementary. We prefer direct confrontation, honestly. Poisoning is more for when you need subtlety. Or revenge. Or political maneuvering. Or, stop. Please stop talking. Is something wrong, Professor? Marcus, when you enrolled in advanced toxicology, what exactly did you think this course would cover? Another pause. Then Marcus said, in a tone of genuine confusion, poisons? Was I wrong? I could hear Professor Kelthara's breathing apparatus working overtime, a sign of extreme stress in her species. Yes, poisons, but this is an academic survey course. We study historical compounds, theoretical applications, ecological defense mechanisms. This is not, we do not teach practical applications for murder. Oh, Marcus said. Then, after a moment, oh. That explains why the curriculum seemed so basic. Basic? Basic? Kelthara's voice hit frequencies I did not think her species could produce. You found doctoral-level toxicology basic? Well, yeah. I mean, no offense, Professor, but we covered most of this stuff when I was 14. Admittedly, that was in the context of why we should not do these things, but the information was pretty thorough. You know, just in case we ever encountered these substances. For safety reasons. For safety reasons, Kelthara repeated weakly. Your educational system teaches children about undetectable poisons for safety reasons. Sure. Like, we also learn about radiation, biological warfare agents, chemical weapons, explosive compounds. Standard stuff. Can't protect yourself from threats if you don't understand them, right? I pressed closer to the door, my translation implant working furiously to process the conversation. Marcus, let me ask you something, and please answer honestly. When I announced this examination, what was your immediate thought process? The human actually laughed. Honestly? I was trying to figure out if you wanted theoretical analysis or practical application. Like, were we supposed to identify the compounds, or were we supposed to explain the best usage scenarios? Because the answer changes depending on the target species, environmental factors, available delivery methods, desired time frame. Stop. The sound of Kelthara's chair scraping against the floor echoed through the room. I heard her pacing, all 4 feet creating an agitated rhythm. Let me be absolutely clear, she said, her voice strained. When you saw 3 deadly poisons, your instinct was not fear, or academic curiosity, or even concern. Your instinct was to categorize them by application efficiency? Well, when you put it like that, it sounds bad. It is bad. It is terrifying. Do you understand what you have just revealed? The Galactic Council maintains strict regulations on toxicological knowledge specifically to prevent weaponization. We have 16 treaties governing the research and dissemination of this information. And you are telling me that human children learn this casually? I mean, we also have treaties about it, Marcus offered. The Geneva Conventions, Chemical Weapons Convention, Biological Weapons Convention. We take this stuff seriously. That is why we make sure everyone knows about it. Mutual deterrence and all that. The silence that followed was so profound I could hear my own circulatory system. Mutual deterrence, Kelthara finally whispered. You teach everyone about poisons so that everyone knows everyone else knows about poisons, therefore nobody uses poisons? Exactly. See, you get it. That is the most insane approach to weapons control I have ever encountered. Is it though? I mean, it works. Mostly. There was that incident in Salisbury, and a few others, but overall the system functions pretty well. I heard Kelthara sit down heavily. Marcus, I need you to answer one more question, and I need complete honesty. What other knowledge does your species consider basic educational material? The human paused, and I could practically hear him thinking. Like, in general? Or specifically things that might concern the Galactic Council? The second one. Definitely the second one. Well, we all learn basic physics, which includes nuclear fission and fusion principles. Chemistry covers explosive compounds, corrosive agents, synthesis pathways for various restricted substances. Biology includes genetic engineering fundamentals, viral modification theory, bacterial culture techniques. History covers every war we ever fought, including tactical analysis and strategic planning. Oh, and most of us learn basic firearms operation and safety. Firearms? Projectile weapons. Kinetic energy transfer. Pretty simple technology, really. You teach children to operate weapons? Some places, yeah. Rural areas mostly. For hunting and self-defense. It is cultural. I heard something that sounded like Kelthara's head hitting her desk. Professor? You okay? No, Marcus. No, I am not okay. I am currently processing the revelation that humanity is a species that considers advanced weapons knowledge to be appropriate for juvenile education. Do you have any idea how the Council will react to this information? Probably not great. Marcus ventured. Not great. Not great. Marcus, we have species in the galactic community who refuse to teach their citizens about sharp objects until they reach maturity. The Plenthians do not even have a word for poison. And here you are, casually explaining that human adolescents receive comprehensive training in chemical, biological, and kinetic warfare. I mean, when you list it all out like that, how are you people still alive? How has your species not self-destructed? Marcus actually seemed to consider this seriously. Spite, mostly. And stubbornness. Plus, we are really good at forming communities when facing external threats. Nothing unites humans quite like a common enemy. We figured if we made sure everyone knew how dangerous we all were, maybe we would focus on cooperation instead of conflict. And does it work? Sometimes. We are still working on it, honestly. But hey, we made it to space without blowing ourselves up completely, so that counts for something, right? Professor Kelthara made a sound that might have been laughter or crying or possibly both. Marcus Hayes, you are simultaneously the best and most terrifying student I have ever taught. Full marks on the examination. Please never take another one of my classes again. That seems fair, Marcus agreed cheerfully that I finally fled for real this time, my mind racing. The other students needed to know. The council needed to know. Everyone needed to know that humans were not just dangerous because of their physical capabilities or their disturbing persistence or their spite-fueled engineering. They were dangerous because they had spent thousands of years teaching each generation exactly how to be dangerous, then trusted them not to use that knowledge, and somehow, impossibly, it worked. Mostly that I never looked at Marcus Hayes the same way again. None of us did. He continued to attend classes, continued to excel, continued to smile that terrifying smile whenever someone underestimated him, and whenever someone asked him a question, we all held our breath, wondering what horrifying aspect of human culture he would casually reveal next, because if their approach to poison education was any indication, humanity's idea of normal was everyone else's nightmare. They just happened to be our nightmare allies now. Terrifying thought, that